Alrighty. Budget Magic, blue-green Evolve. Man, this hand has a ton of what we want, but it's risky. We need a blue source. I guess we still have some action without it. And we have a probe to get there. What is happening? Forest, suspend Lotus Bloom, go. Alright, let's probe. See if we can get an idea what's happening. I'm Feed the Clan, double rampant growth, Simic growth chamber, Ulamog, infinite gyre. So I guess the plan, it would appear, is to suspend Lotus Blooms and use the mana to. You know what? This is like Modern Masters block deck. I guess Feed the Clan is in there, but I think every other card our opponent's played is in one of the two Modern Masters. Hey, blue source. All right. Well, feeling good about this one, boys and girls. Yeah, Cloudfin Raptor. You want to get the blue out there first. I think I'm planning on. Sometimes I run into really bad decks in Budget Magic, and by bad I mean our opponent's decks. Also sometimes our deck, but and also their decks are usually hilarious, just like what is going on type hilarious. So I have a file that I've been saving, a folder, where I just stick all these videos in it. So someday I'm going to throw up a playlist of the craziest decks my opponents have played against me while I've been making Budget Magic. And this very well could be in there. And why I'm laughing at this guy, we're probably just going to die to Ulamog. Actually, no, we can kill our opponent pretty quick here. Especially if you draw another land. Oh, yeah. Alright, so we get to Experiment 1. Into Young Wolf. This hand would be good, even if our opponent wasn't playing something crazy. We're going to be able to get in for a ton of damage next turn. So we get in for 1 here, but next turn we're going to do a whole bunch of evolving. This is basically the nut draw for the deck. Evolve creatures, Pongify, and Undying creatures. Rampant growth. So our opponent is up to 4 mana. Lotus Bloom makes 7. Bounce land 8, 9. Still not too close. I guess Feed the Clan is going to buy them some time. So we want to try to kill as quickly as possible. Ooh, another hybridization. Alright, so Strangleroot Geist. Get some evolves. And then we'll rapid hybridization. Doesn't matter, same thing as Pongify, unless your opponent has some tribal hate for apes or lizards, frog lizards. When you're stacking these, you usually want the Undying trigger to happen first. In this case, it doesn't really matter. But with Evolve, you need the creature to come back and trigger Evolve before the token triggers Evolve in most cases. So it's good to get in the habit of stacking the Undying trigger first on top of the Evolve triggers. Because if we resolve these triggers first, then the Undying creature might not be big enough to trigger, or the Evolve creatures might already be too big for the token to trigger. Like these will fizzle if their power already gets, or toughness gets above 3. Anyway, get to Evolve. Lots of power. So we're hitting for 10 here, and we have lethal on board next turn. I don't think we can win through a Feed the Clan next turn. I think gaining 5, yeah. Gaining 5 should be enough to keep our opponent alive. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're still kind of a long ways away from casting Ulamog. Unless they have something else going on. I think we should be even through Feed the Clan. We should be able to win before they get Ulamog out. Sometimes you run into odd decks on Magic Online. And this is included. Plus, even Ulamog isn't that great. Like, they can kill something, like our flyer, for instance. But then when you get to Vapor Snag it and attack, unless they are also playing Lightning Greaves or Swiftfoot Boots. So opponent gains 5 life, up to 14. We can hit them for 13. Assuming we don't draw a Strangleroot Geist. We actually can't quite become immense. Actually, we can. Should we become immense? If our opponent just has nothing, we could Pongify something on our Young Wolf. I don't think there's any reason to. We could Pongify Young Wolf when both cards are in the graveyard, exile them, 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, Pongify Young Wolf, pay 2, become immense, and potentially win on the spot. But putting our opponent to 1 is nice, because even if they play a creature, even if they play a Thragtusk, we can stack things, so the Vapor Snag will win the game before anything else happens. And we don't even know that our opponent has Thragtusk. Oh, Reliquary Tower. Well, you wouldn't want to be without that in a green Eldrazi ramp deck. I guess let's take another peek before we win. We can't resist. Oh my god! Yes! Oh, and the giant growth. Oh, for when your Ulamog isn't big enough. Oh man. This might be the greatest thing I've ever seen. Lotus Bloom, Giant Growth, Ulamog. Also Reliquary Tower. Those are cards that probably should never be in the same deck. I guess I could see a world where you were using Lotus Bloom to play Eldrazi. But beyond that, so I could see that, but otherwise, I don't have any idea what's going on. Well, we're gonna mulligan this one. That is keepable. I actually really wanted to mulligan into a Gitaxian Probe because I want to see what cards our opponent has in our hand. And our opponent's deck was 100 cards game 1, and now it has mysteriously, our opponent went up to 114? Yes, 114. So, they just moved all except 1 card from their sideboard into their deck and submitted. Well, let's take a peek at what's happening this time. All is dust. Oh, this is Eldrazi Infect. Wait, no, that's not even an effect creature. Eldrazi. Holy mother. Yes. Well, strange things are happening. Blight Widow. Hydra Broodmaster. Chromatic Sphere. Giant Growth. Rampant Growth. Ulamog, All is Dust. I wonder if you're playing Travis Wu. This kind of seems like something he would make. Since he has a recent penchant for smashing together different decks. This is like, oh, I could see the title on Channel Fireball. 100 card Eldrazi Infect. Yeah. 100 card Eldrazi Infect. I guess that is what it would be called. And the fact that our opponent is playing 100 cards and sideboarded their entire sideboard minus one card into their deck is one of the funnier things I've ever heard. You would think with 100 slots, you would probably have something that isn't good in a particular matchup. Maybe the thinking was that um, I don't even know. I guess Blight Widow is good against our deck. Stonewall's a lot of it. So I think we're just gonna go for the Pongify here and go on the putting our opponent out of their misery plan. Oh man, Moto, the things you do doesn't matter. I guess we just get a forest. Mana Leak, just in case our opponent ever draws anything that matters. Another Young Wolf. Attack with everything. And I think we can wait another turn before probing. We want maximum viewage. I wonder if there could be any legitimate reason to play 100 cards. I know there's a debate over like 61 cards or things like that that some people make. Also, you could play Battle of Wits. Would be a reason to play more than 100 cards. But exactly 100 cards, unless you're playing EDH, it is hard for me to see a reason for that. Not sure why that number. Unless our opponent is misinterpreting the rules of Magic with the rules of EDH. But it's not even Singleton. We saw multiple Rampant Growths. So it's not like this is an EDH deck. This is, well, oh, Soul of Zendikar Naturalize. I bet that was one of the 14 sideboard cards that came in. Kind of has Languish Dinosaur on it. What? Oh. Alright. Maybe that's a dragon. Let's take a peek. I don't think we're going to see much because those were new cards that were discarded. What was added? Oh, a Cultivate and a Spike Feeder. Yes, we forgot the life gain sub-theme. 100 card life gain Infect Eldrazi. I mean, if you're gonna play 100 cards and move 14 cards from your sideboard to the main deck, you might as well just play 114 and put those in there to begin with. Like, come on, guys. All right. Yes, we're not gonna counter it. We'll be nice, but we are going to Pongify our Young Wolf, which gives us 10 power. Our opponent's at 8 life. Maybe we should have mana leaked it just. But our opponent's already having a rough enough go of it. We don't need to rub it in. Trolling other real decks is one thing, but trolling a new player, or what I assume is a new player that's just starting off. And obviously, by laughing at this deck, that I mean no offense to the player. We all start somewhere, and I can tell you. All right, quick story. When I first started playing Magic, my deck was an Eon Storm deck that I made based around charge counters and modular creatures, and it was horrible. We don't need the story.